This is about how chopped Nefer is. In terms of gameplay, my opinion on the strength of Nefer has been changed from the moment she released, and no, this is not even about the 100 EM nerf because all that is calculated and accounted for. The previous opinion is based on calculating her damage on a sheet, but the problem is, it is difficult to achieve the result we have on sheet now that I played her more, because the lack of good teammates for Nefer. And if we opt for comfort instead, then we lose damage compared to what we thought Nefer could do. There are three main reasons for this. You're staring at the first reason, and then you're staring at the second reason, and then technically you're staring at the third reason. Alright, let's talk about it. First, I know application is just absolutely dog shit for Nefer. Make no mistake, I know is good for Flames because I know's application lasts for 14 seconds, and the Flames rotation usually lasts for 16 seconds, so there's only about 2 seconds of no hydro application downtime. But Nefer likes to play in a 2 skill rotations, an 18-second rotation. Now obviously we can do some dash cancel and get this down to some 17 seconds if we really glaze her, but we're gonna get more into it later. So it never plays in an 18-second rotation, usually means that there is about a 4 seconds of no hydro application downtime. And don't even get me started on I know gameplay. This thing misses. This thing misses my circle impact. It's just right on the edge of it.
No more lies.
Oh, it's out of the I know's AoE. The application is also dependent on her getting her burst back. Please give me energy. Oh my god. Any energy, please. Thank you. I know, please. Can you get your buzz? Would you believe if I say this is 250 ER? I know? Bruh. No, 269. This is dark water. In a normal theater or a base situation, when we start with full burst, she can get her burst back reliably. But in station, we start with 0 energy. So one skill, even with a bonus, is not enough for I know to trigger her full burst. Need to get a little bit of energy from somewhere else to waste about 10 seconds at the beginning, which is the cooldown of her skill. Now we can do skill and burst for a proper rotation. Swapping to Flameforge Insight, which was a summer event weapon, helps herself a bit, but now she is not giving Favonius particles to team anymore, which is also important. And even with Flameforge Insight, at the start of the fight, I know still cannot get her burst back with just one skill. And now that's 10 seconds wasted to wait for the second skill usage. 10 seconds in station is a lot. And I've consistently get much better result by simply using Furina in the Hydro slot. Even though Furina's burst does not buff Luna Bloom at all. My I know C1. Theoretically, she should be buffing Nefer by 80 elemental mastery, which is 4 elemental mastery substats. But Furina in this slot just consistently perform better by a mile. Please give me energy. Wow, I can immediately break the shield. My Furina build is not that crazy. She's holding Deep Wood with some level 16 artifacts. She has Constellation 1, but because she's not even bursting, Constellation 1 doesn't matter. So clearly it's not Furina's personal damage that makes up the big chunk of the difference, right? It's just the Hydro application. Columbina, save us, please. So we stared at the first problem in the face. Now we're gonna stare at the second problem in the face. It's not exactly questionable, but overall, a Nefer team usually goes with Nefer, Lauma, a Hydro application option, and preferably a fourth option that provide some sustain. If you are a pain enjoyer, you play Nahida with prototype Amber, but then you reset. Unless you can obliterate everything within 1 or 2 rotation, don't hurt yourself like this. This team option is obviously good for damage, but never dies. So what are the other options that we have? We have Shinobu, who actively kills herself by draining her own HP whenever she heals. Luckily, I have Kuki Shinobu C6, so I have 1 exemption from dying on Kuki Shinobu. Oh my god. Thank you, C6 Shinobu. It still feels ass whenever I have to switch to Kuki Shinobu and she has 10% HP. I have to be really careful or it's as a reset. We have Diona holding either Deep Wood or Silken Moon, requiring C6 to function. With C6, she provides 200 elemental mastery for Nefer. Cooldown is a problem because it's a 20-second cooldown on Diona, but that could be worked around, similar to using Furina. We have some other options, which is Kokomi, I don't have, and Baiju, I also don't have. Baiju is also locked to a 20-second rotation. He has a shield, which is comfy. And he buffs Luna Bloom a little bit. Kokomi, 20-second cooldown. We can also kind of work it around by varying when we're gonna swap to Kokomi. Or we can use Sacrificial Fragment. At R5, it should have a 80% chance of resetting the cooldowns of the skill. Either 80% of resetting the skill cooldown or 20% of resetting your clear. Okay, there's one good option that I have not mentioned. One good option for defensive option in Nefer team. That is Nefer. Nefer is chill. Buff Elemental Mastery burst, and Nefer can just build for either attack, crit rate and use Favonius so she can get her burst back quickly, or some combination of attack for more shielding strength. Nefer is a comfy character to use, but then also that is requiring us to pull for 3 characters back to back in 3 consecutive patches. Nefer in 5.8, Lauma in 6.0 or Luna 1, and Nefer in Luna 2. But do you know who else is benefiting from the confidence of Nefer's shield? Flames! And Flames in Nefer are a complete 2 characters bundle that has damage and defensive utility. Just like Skirk and Escovia that provides both damage and defensive utility. Back to Nefer and Lauma. Okay, there's damage, but where's my defensive utility? Also, what's coming here? You can also pull for Lauma C1, but then you're gonna have this very same problem. Pulling 3 5-star do the job of what supposedly a bundle would be usually able to do. Why Lauma C0 does not have healing or any form of defensive utility, I don't understand. And then after looking at the first problem in the face, the second problem in the face, now we look at the third problem in the face, Nefer herself. Nefer's optimal gameplay requires being on field and being fast paced with her charge attack and cancelling it to be able to dish out the damage. But her special charge attack is scattered by the little moon sign, which is Verdant Dew. And if we don't have enough hydro application, that is a moment of me having to wait for my charge attack because I don't have enough Verdant Dew. The Verdant Dew generation is such a strict mechanic. We need to meet a certain baseline in terms of how fast our hydro application is, otherwise we lose damage. But if we're going above and beyond that baseline even faster, it does not give us extra returns due to the Verdant Dew cooldown, and that feels bad. Perhaps some people don't care, but I still include it because it matters for me. And in terms of the maximum ceiling of Nefer gameplay, if we do dash cancel really well, the Verdant Dew generation restricts her ceiling. So in conclusion, after we've touched on all the points, the option for Hydro teammate for Nefer currently is ass. The option for sustain in Nefer team currently is also ass. And Nefer herself being restricted by the Verdant Dew mechanic. Still okay for the people that just want to have comfortable gameplay and hold charge attack and be done with it. But for the people that wants to clear difficult content like I do and want to optimize her gameplay as much as possible, it doesn't feel the greatest. All of that contributes to Nefer in practical gameplay feels quite a bit worse than theoretical assumption and what people have been putting out on paper on calculating sheet Excels. And for that reason, even though on paper, if everything goes right, Nefer is doing ever so slightly more damage than Flames, in practice, as of right now, Nefer gameplay feels a little bit closer to Morlani gameplay, which is quite janky. It's not as bad as Morlani gameplay, and it's not inherently because of Nefer's kit. Only one part of the problem is the Verdant Dew, and the other 2 I mentioned is because of the lack of Hydro teammate and healing or shielding teammate. So if I have to rank Nefer again, she would be going from here to here, and borderline even here. I'll be conservative with the changes for now. Nefer is still a nice character. I would still like to have her in my account, and that's absolutely fine. Because the pulling a character for me is more than just a combat capability. I don't want this to all be doom and gloom. I want to discuss about what will make Nefer feels better to play. Now, that's gonna go hand in hand with everything that we have discussed so far. The Verdant Dew mechanic, I don't think there's much that can be changed there. That is a game mechanic. But they can release a more comfortable Hydro applicator for Nefer team. A character that is not restricted to a circle for applying Hydro, and the mode of application can either just follow the character around, like Xingqiu's sword, like Barbara ring, like Nilu's ring, or it can also be a kind of application that's similar to Furina's pet. The pets also move and target the enemies. That feels really comfortable. They can also release a more comfortable sustained character for Nefer that aligns more with a 18-second rotation of Nefer rather than having some scuffed 20-second rotation, so we either have to wait around 1 or 2 seconds doing nothing, or having to do some random swap in the middle of the rotation. That's weird. Preferably a shielder. It doesn't happen very often, but when Nefer gets interrupted due to the fast-paced nature of her gameplay, she loses out on quite a bit of damage. I want to make another comparison to Flames, not because that I really want to facilitate any Nefer Flames discussion in a toxic way, but they are just both not cry characters that are released newly into the region, and they are both characters that initially on paper we think that they are doing somewhat similar damage. All of Nefer field time, she is required to do the special charge attack. If it takes more time for the special charge attack to come out, she's losing damage per second. And if we get ragdolled by the enemy, if we not get knocked around, that is precious seconds on the timer lost. Now this do not happen a lot, and I'm just cherry picking these worst moments from my 10 or so clear of Stygian Onslaught, but it does happen when the enemy hits hard. And even when she's not completely ragdolled, being interrupted still feels bad because we now have to take about half a second to restart our charge attack. Compared to Flints, on top of the fact that Nefer can shield Flints, okay? How this motherfucker plays? He does damage, he fucks around. 6 seconds later, he does damage, he fucks off, okay? In between the time that he does the first instant of damage, he can just run buy a burger and then go back, okay? Does a second big instance of damage. Now obviously we want to do normal attack on him to get more energy, but the point is, even if we get ragdoll from now until 6 seconds later, oh my god, the enemy slapped me so hard, okay, I got up, another instance of damage. He doesn't lose much from being interrupted. The sustain character for Nefer that they are going to release is preferably a shielder. It's gonna be slightly better than healer, but if you are very good with your dash cancelling and dodging the enemies, then that may not matter. An average player, a shielder should be more comfortable. Now both the aspect of the better hydro applicator and a sustain option can be condensed into one character. That's amazing news for Nefer enjoyer, but if it's not, then preferably it's from some easily accessible 4-star character, or that is in Columbina's kit, since many people likely already plan to pull for the not Christ quote-unquote Archon, Columbina anyway. That is my copium right now, that Columbina will bring the solution, or at least part of the solution.